Okay, so let's find out some equations that we have. Well, that one's not it's not that difficult, you know. Again, that's something we did in Algebra 2 already.
Yeah.
But once you get into like ellipses, hyperbola, parabola, you know, they're quite similar. And then the structure might be a little bit different, okay? Then that's the most confusing part. Because once you get into like ellipses, parabola, you'll deal with what? Foci, eccentricity, you know, those type of things. Okay, so here's what we got. So we got x squared plus y squared minus 2x plus 4y minus 20. So that equals 0. So how do you guys complete the square again? Group the like terms, right? So group. So x squared minus 2x plus blank. And then y squared plus 4y. And what about the constant? What should I do with the constant? Move it to the right. Good. And how do you complete the square again? What's that formula?
B over 2 whole square.
Mm-hmm. So this one here is just negative 2 over 2 quantity squared. And then the other one 4 over 2 quantity squared. So we add 1 here, and then we add 4 for the other group. So totally we're adding 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, the main purpose of completing the square, you want to factor it, right?
Yeah.
So x minus 1 quantity square, and then y plus 2 quantity square. And 20 plus 5? 25. Equation of a circle. So someone tell me about the center. What's the center of this equation of a circle?
It's 1 comma negative 2.
Okay, 1 comma negative 2. And the radius? 5. Right, Kika? Yeah. And then the next one that you want to do, next thing that you want to do, you want to sketch the graph. So 1 comma negative 2. Quadrant 4, right? Radius?
5.
So how do you come up with the points on the circle?
I mean, just do like top.
Top,
Yeah.
count of 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. And then down the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down. And then 5 units to the right. And then 5 units to the left, right?
Yeah.
So negative 1, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So basically just connect those dots, right? So that's a circle. So all the vertices, simply just connect them. Is that all you found? Yeah, and then center, just label it. 1 comma negative 2. Okay, so now the next one I would like to try. Okay, what about the parabola? So use the given graph to derive the equation of a parabola. Definition, a parabola is a set of all points P, X, y in the plane that are equal distance from both fixed point, and the focus, and the line, and the directrix. Do you guys remember the standard form of a parabola? Back to Algebra 2. Can someone tell me about the vertex form of a parabola?
X minus 8 squared plus k.
Okay, let's find out.
Or a times
Right.
quantity of x minus 8 squared
So-
plus k.
The one that you learned, so that one is written as what? Y equals A, well, Y equals A, okay? X minus H, quantity squared. And what else?
Plus k.
Plus K. But this one is just the vertical parabola. Vertical. And what about the horizontal?
Just replace y and x.
So just swap them, right? So it's X equals what? A, Y minus K, quantity square, and
Plus h.
plus H. Now that's what you learned from Algebra 2. Now, but in terms of the conic sections, the general form, guess what? This one is written as y minus k.
Wait. What is this for?
It's for the conic. The conic form. So y minus k equals 1 over 4p, and then x minus h, quantity squared.
Because 1 over 4p is the foci.
Yeah, the value of p, you can find the focus, and also tell you the directrix. Okay, so again, this one's the vertical. So for the graph, so it's going to be written like this. So let's say that, well, here's the vertex, right? Yeah? What about the focus? What's the coordinate of the focus?
Wait,
Here's the focus.
Yeah.
Then that would be considered what? H, comma, K plus P.
Oh, okay.
What about the directrix?
H comma K minus P.
Just K minus P. Because that's the
yeah.
line. Right? Yeah? So the structure that you need to know. It could be upside down. It could be like, just like facing upward. Now, what about for the horizontal? For the horizontal line, what do you think that is? This one's vertical. If that's horizontal, what's the form? Quite similar to this. What do you have to swap?
X and Y.
X and Y. So this one's going to be x minus h. So that equals 1 over 4p. And then y minus k, quantity squared. Okay, so that's horizontal. So it's going to be like this. Again, we're using h and k as the center. Focus. So what's the x, y coordinate of the focus? If that's a sideways parabola. So it turns out to be what? H plus P, comma, K. And then over here, directrix. Directrix is just like a balanced line.
X is equal to H minus P.
So x equals H minus P. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah? So now this one is just like using the graph to derive the parabola formula. While this one is just like using H and K. So there's no need to derive it. So all you need to do, just use that, the formula. From the vertex form, you want to convert that to the 1 over 4p. So the value of A is just 1 over 4p.
Okay.
The scale factor. So now, you guys ready for number 4? So write each equation in standard form and graph, and clearly show how you use the focal diameter in the graph. So that means finding the focus. And the directrix must be part of the graph of a parabola. So make sure that you need to show all the elements. Okay, so let's do 4a. So 4a, what kind of parabola is that? Horizontal or vertical?
Horizontal.
Why is horizontal? Because y is being squared, right? Okay, let's do that. So 4a. So that one is what? Horizontal. So it's 1 over 12. Y squared minus x equals 0. Now, first thing that you want to do, you want to turn it into the standard form.
Yeah, so it's P is equal to 3. Oh yeah. Well.
Okay,
X is
one thing at
equal
a time. So we need to isolate this, right?
Yeah.
So x equals what? 1 over 12 y squared. Is that what we got?
Yeah.
Okay, so identifying that's vertex. What's the vertex here? If the vertex is not shown, if h and k is not given, what do you think the vertex is? 0, 0. Okay. What's the value of p? How do you find the value of p? We got 1 over 4p equals what?
1 over 4p.
1 over 4p equals what? 1 over 12. So that means p equals 3. And we do know that it's a horizontal parabola. But which way does the parabola face to? To the left or to the right? If that's positive, common sense. To the right. What about if p is negative? To the left. Okay. So now, starting with the vertex. So 0, 0, right here. And can someone tell me about the way to find the focus?
Just plug it into.
Like that, right? H plus P, comma K. So that would be what? 3, comma 0. 1, 2, 3. To the right. Focus. Vertex. And what about the directrix? Anyone? Directrix? Then that'd be what? H minus P. 0 minus 3, which is negative 3. Directrix is just like kind of like a vertical asymptote or the horizontal asymptote. You know, it shows like a balance, like a boundary. Okay. And now, guess what?
Just graph it.
Just graph it, right? You can get some point here, but it's not necessary. Just a rough sketch. Is that a win? Yeah? So what do you think? All right? Yeah? Easy? Okay, so now, can you guys try Foci? So that one looks like you have to complete the square a little bit. And then after that, again, it's the same process. Find the value of the vertex, the value of P, so we can determine the focus and the directrix. So try Foci then. Because the glare looks like it's hard to read the color here, so you need to use a darker color. Okay, so 4C. So we got y squared plus 6y plus x plus 11 equals 0. What kind of parabola is that? Horizontal? So what do you have to do first? Looks like we need to complete the square, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Regroup them. So y squared plus 6y plus blank. Now what? Remove that x and constant, right?
Yeah.
So negative x minus 11. Now on the right hand side, can I take out the negative 1?
Yeah.
Negative, negative, so that means things that they share in common. Negative 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, negative 1, x plus 11. And this one here, just what, y? Well, before you take out negative 11, let's complete the square first.
6 over 2 whole squared.
So that means add 9 both sides.
Yeah.
So negative 11 turns out to be what? Negative 2, right? Factor it. So y plus 3 quantity squared, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Now what? Anything that we can pull out? On the right hand side?
Like
Take out negative 2.
Take out negative 2 or negative 1?
yeah. Okay.
Negative 1, right?
Negative 1.
So it's x minus 2, and this one is y plus 3 quantity squared.
Wait, why is it negative
Yeah.
x plus 2?
I thought it was x plus 2 equals negative y plus 3 squared.
Wait, since you add negative 11 and 9, shouldn't it be negative x minus 2?
Yeah.
Minus 2, right? Yeah. So this one right here, then that'll be what? Plus 2. Now the negative, where do I put a negative 1? With the linear or with the quadratic?
Quadratic.
With the quadratic. Why is that?
Because we want to find p is negative.
Exactly. So let's just remove that negative 1. So it's going to be negative quantity of y plus 3 square, and then x plus 2. So what's the value of the vertex? XY coordinate.
So value for vertex is
Negative 2, comma,
7,
negative
3.
3. The vertex. And how do you define the value of p?
Negative 1/4.
So 1 over 4p equals what? Negative 1. So that means p must be what? Negative 1/4. Now what?
You just graph it.
Just graph it? Okay, graph. And we do know that it's what? It's a horizontal parabola. So start with the vertex, and then find the focus, then directrix. Okay? So negative 2, negative 3. Bless you. Negative 2, negative 3. So what would be the focus for this? It looks like the parabola is facing to the left, right?
Yeah. Negative 5 over 4.
Negative 5 over 4,
Comma negative 3.
comma negative 3. Well, because that you want to what? You want to add negative 1/4, right?
Yeah.
So negative 5 over 4, so that's about what? Negative 1 1/4.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, the thing's that
No, wait. Sorry. Okay.
it's negative 2 plus negative 1/4, so it's negative 2 and 1/4, right?
Negative 9 over.
Negative 9 over 4. Or negative 2 and 1/4. Let's do it that way.
Okay.
Easier, right? So negative 2 and 1/4, and then down negative 3, so it's pretty close to the vertex. What else? Directrix? Where's the directrix here? So negative 2 plus minus negative 1/4, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in other words, negative 2 plus 1/4, then that'd be negative 1 and 3/4. Negative 1 and 3/4. Again, those points are kind of like symmetrical here, but don't forget about the directrix. Like that, right?
Yeah.
Now what? Right. Can we find the x-intercept for this? How do you find the x-intercept?
It would be like you have to like.
So that means y equals 0, right? So y equals 0, so that means what? Negative 9. So that equals x plus 2.
Yeah.
So that means x equals
Negative 11.
negative 11. Okay, so the x-intercept would be all the way over here. So negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, negative 10, negative 11. So this one's going to be a kind of like a what? It's like a narrow parabola, right? So eventually it's going to intersect that at negative 11. Why is that kind of narrow? What's the reason? Anyone know?
Because you need diffraction.
Because of what? See the value of A? What's the
Yeah.
value of A here?
Negative what? It's not even that high, but you know.
Right, it's just a scale.
Yeah.
Just a scale. What do you think? Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Good? Okay. Okay, so now let's see what else. So we do have circle, parabola. Guess what else that we have for the conic sections? Ellipse, right? Ellipses. So for number 5, pretty much just like parabola again, but you just need to find out the point, all the value of p. So those are the one you can finish. So now, ellipse. Do you guys recognize the general form? Well, not the general form, the standard form. What's the standard form of the ellipse? So let's say we do have an equation of ellipse. What's the standard form? Anyone? It's quite similar to the equation of a circle. But what else does that involve?
It's x minus h squared over a plus y minus k squared over b is equal to r squared.
X minus h quantity square over
but
a
is equal to
squared
1, right?
plus, yes, y minus k quantity square over b squared. So that equals 1. And what are those two different type of ellipses? We do have horizontal. What's the other one?
Vertical.
Vertical.
And so it's horizontal when b is greater than a, or
Okay, horizontal, that means
No,
A
A.
is greater than B. Okay? So A is greater than B. And what about that's vertical? So let's say that's a vertical ellipse. What happened with that? A and B. So what?
Is A less than B?
B is greater than A. Alright? The other way around. Okay, so here's what we got. The center, it's always what? H and K. Right? H and K, it's always the center. So now, if that's like horizontal ellipse, how do you find out those vertices? The vertices, the co-vertices? So the way to find the vertices, what is it? So it's H plus A, comma, K, right? For this one?
so that.
Well,
that
because
is
that A is greater than B.
So
A, remember, back to algebra 2. So A here, it's called the major axis, right? And then B here, what do you call that? The minor. The minor axis. So for the one on the right hand side, so this one is H plus A, comma K. What about the one on the left hand side? How do you define that vertex? Would that be what? H minus A, comma, K, right? The one on the right and then the one on the left.
those are the two like endpoints
Yeah.
of these. So
The
that
endpoint. So it's called the vertices. Vertex.
those
one.
are not the foci, just the.
Not the foci, not yet. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so now what about the one up here? So this one is called the covertex. Here's another covertex. How do you find out those two covertices? So the way that we find the vertex is H minus A or H plus A.
So
But what about the
so it would
covertex?
be h comma k plus a.
Exactly. H comma K plus B. And the other one down here,
H comma
H comma K minus
b.
B. Okay. Now, you guys might be wondering, how do we find the foci, right? Okay, the way to find foci. So here are the foci. Foci, that's just plural of focus. So the way to do it, it's H plus C. Okay, well, let me just put it right up here. So it's H plus C, comma K.
And what is c?
Well, the value of C, it's all about the Pythagorean theorem. Kind of like a Pythagorean theorem. So that would be A squared minus B squared. And then the way to solve for C is just like square root of a squared minus b squared. So if you guys can look at that, the diagram here, the way to find C. What is that about? It's just like a Pythagorean theorem.
What do you call it? The foci is h minus c, comma k?
Yes.
Okay.
So for the other one here, so this one is h minus c, comma k.
So h plus minus c, comma k.
The one on the right, it's h plus c, comma k. And then the one on the right, it's h minus c, comma k. Alright? Now, what about for the vertical ellipse? Here's the vertices. Here's the covertices. How do you find those main vertices? Or the main vertex?
It's like the same.
Similar, but the thing is that instead of being h plus a, it's going to be what? H comma k plus b, right? Because we changed the y value.
Yeah.
And then down here on the bottom, what is it? H comma k minus b. Yeah? Do you guys all agree? And then what about the one on the left and the right for the covertices? So for the covertices, what? H minus a, comma k, right?
Yeah.
And then this one right here, h plus a, comma k. So basically, it's the same kind of formula, but the thing is that we just swap the vertices and the covertices. But what about the foci? How do you find out the foci?
H comma k plus minus c.
Okay, so h comma k plus c. And then down here, h comma k minus c. It's always starting from the the center. Okay, no matter what that is, always starting from the center. Again, how do you find c for this? If b is greater than a. It's going to be a little bit different. What do you think? So c squared equals what? Square root of b squared minus a squared. So c is what? Square root of, well, this one just b squared minus a squared. Alright?
Yeah.
That's a lot of information.
That is.
Yeah? Let's do one practice. Yeah, let's do the easier one first. Number 2. So graph each ellipse. Identify the foci, vertices, covertices, and one more thing. Eccentricity. What is that? Do you know?
I don't know.
Eccentricity is just like a ratios of how round, the ellipse that is.
Okay.
What's the eccentricity of a circle?
1.
It's always 1, because that's a perfect circle, right?
Okay.
It's perfect circular figure.
How do
But
you-
what about eccentricity of the ellipse?
It would be like the major axis divided by the minor axis. Or-
Kind of like that, okay? So the eccentricity, well, if that's a circle, that it's always what? 1, right? But for the ellipse, guess what? It's all about the ratio. So this one is always greater than 0, okay? So let's say, the E, it's a little bit different compared to the, just compared to C. But it's less than 1. Okay?
Wait, okay, yeah. How do you find eccentricity?
Let's do it. Which one is greater, A or B?
A.
A, right? Ready? So eccentricity for this one, it's always consider, well, A is kind of like a hypotenuse. So C over A.
This is that.
Just that.
Okay.
What about if that's the vertical?
C over B.
Yes. Okay? It's because that's the ratio. Can that be greater than 1, right? If that's the other way around, it's going to be greater than 1. Okay? Eccentricity. So again, the definition of eccentricity is showing that the ratio how do I describe it? The roundness of the ellipse. Well, because that circle is always perfect, right? 100%.
Yeah.
It's a perfect circle. So this one you want to find out how close, the shape of the ellipse is going to be to like a circle,
Yeah.
Or we can say the comparison. Ready?
Yeah.
So for the first one, so for 2A, guess what kind of ellipse that is? Vertical or horizontal?
That would be horizontal.
Would that be horizontal? Why is that, Ansh?
Because A is greater than B.
Do you guys all agree? See that x squared? The number underneath that x squared, it's greater than the number underneath that y squared. Okay, so it's going to be horizontal. So now I would like to identify the center, the vertices, the co-vertices, and also find the eccentricity. And don't forget the foci. Okay. So x squared over 16 plus y squared over 4 equals 1. Okay, so h comma k. Tika, can you tell me what that is?
It would be 0, 0.
Yes. Hitting the value of a squared. 16. B squared.
2.
Wait, b squared? 4. So that means a is 4, b is 2. And we do know that's horizontal. Okay. Ansh, how do you find the value of c?
It'd be the root of A squared minus B squared.
Okay, so square root of a squared minus b squared, because that's horizontal, right? Which is what, 16 minus 4, and then square root of the whole thing. What's square root of 12? It's a non-perfect square number. It's 2 root 3. Okay, keep it like that first. Okay, so now let's see what else that we need here. That's good enough, right? And then sketch the graph. Then we're going to identify the center, the vertices, the co-vertices, and then the foci. So 0, 0.
4, 6.
And the first vertex is 4 units to the right? From the center. And the other one is what? 4 units to the left. Okay. Co-vertices. What are those co-vertices?
Those are like, 2 comma 0, negative 2 comma
0, 2.
Oh, sorry, 0 comma 2. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
0, 2. Because that's the vertical one, right? And the other one is what? 0, 2. So basically right here, you can connect all those vertices together. The main vertices, the co-vertices. So simply connect them. Ellipse. Football.
Okay.
Yeah, for tomorrow. Okay. Cheer for the Niners. Okay, so now what else? Okay, what else does that involve? Foci?
Yeah, foci.
How do you find foci? Now, we do know that's horizontal, so that means we started from the center here.
Yeah, it's like
There's no need to change the value of k.
Yeah, it'll be like 3.46 and then like, so it'll be 3.46.
Okay, so then that'd be 2 root 3 comma 0, right?
Yeah,
Which is what, 3.46?
46. So 3.5.
About somewhere over here.
Yeah.
Okay, that. And then over here, symmetrical, right? Negative 2 root 3 comma 0. Yes? Is that it? Okay, what else? Read through the instruction one more time. Looks like something's missing here. Eccentricity.
State the domain and
Oh yeah?
absolute value inequalities.
Yeah, it's like what, less than or equal to? Well, you'll see that in a minute. Okay, so now what would you do? Eccentricity?
Oh, that's, yeah, it's just 2 root 3
The
over
ratio,
4.
the roundness, what is that
2
about?
root 3 over 4, which is root 3 over 2, which
Okay,
is
so it's what, C over A? So 2 root 3 over 4. Reduce, root 3 over 2. Wow, if that's root 3 over 2, is that one of those special ratios?
Yeah.
What kind of special ratio is that? For sine, cosine, and tangent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so good tell. What a coincidence. Now, what else do you need to identify?
The
Oh, the domain range, right? What's the domain for this? TT? For the ellipse. For the football. -4 all the way to, right?
4 is less than or equal to.
Yeah, less than or equal to x. It's less than or equal to 4. Now, but the thing is that we want to put into the absolute value notation. If that's absolute value notation, what is it? So this one is the same as what? Absolute value of x minus 4, which is what?
0. Wait, what? Hold up. 0, yeah, 0.
Greater than or equal to? Is that greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to?
Works. It's like the root of x is equal to 4. Absolute value of x is equal to 4. That's it.
Or can you just put it this way? Can we do that?
I don't think that'll work. I don't think that'll work.
Is that the same thing?
I don't think that'll work.
You don't think so?
Yeah,
Well, let's find out. X minus 4, if that's less than or equal to 0. Yeah, that doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
Because that's less than 0. So you're just saying that what? X, its absolute value of x is less than or equal to 4. Okay, like that. And what about the range? What's the range for this case? So that one doesn't work. So absolute value of what? Y? It's less than or equal to 2. What do you think?
That's fine.
Alright. The next one is quite similar, but that one you need to complete the square for this. But let's do the ones a little bit more challenging. You guys ready for number 3b? Find a general conic equation of each ellipse. For B, it shows the eccentricity and also shows the what? The vertices.
That's it?
That's it. And then you have to figure out the rest of the elements. What would you do?
That'd be cool.
Critical thinking. Let's try that one. And then once we're done, we'll take a break. So 3B. Now it doesn't tell you what kind of ellipse that is, so we need to figure it out. Eccentricity, so that shows the ratio of the roundness of the ellipse. Again, it's always considered either like A over C or B over C, right?
You can see that it's what do you call it? It's a horizontal.
Why is that?
Because the vertices.
Because the Y value doesn't change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys see that? The Y value doesn't change. So that way you can say that it's what? Horizontal. Because the vertices, the main vertices, it's right along the what? It's like horizontal. Right along the horizontal axis. Okay, so let's find out. Good. Right, Tika? Because the main vertices, it shows that the value of x is being changed. Anytime they see the value of x is being changed, so that means it's always right along the horizontal axis. And that's considered a horizontal ellipse.
But you also know that A is equal to 200.
A is 200?
Yeah, wait.
Really?
Because it's
No.
like A,
A is 20.
A is 20.
Oh, sorry.
A squared would be what? 400, right?
Yeah. A is 20?
Well, because that's C over A.
Oh, yeah.
The eccentricity shows what? The ratio? So it's what? C over A. Root 30, what's that? That's the value of C.
Because...
Okay, so let's just write down the information. So here's what we got. So for part B, or number 3.
Wait, that might be conflicting information. Because if you
Why
see
is
the
that?
if you see the vertices, you
Uh-huh.
can see it says 8 plus 10 root 2 and it said
Yeah.
8 minus 10 root 2. Wait, but then... Wait, but we don't know whether the what do you call it? The
So we got a 10 root 2. Well, this one is just the reducing ratio. Keep that in mind. That's just the reducing ratio. It's the simplest form.
yeah, exactly.
Right? So the value of a, we can find out exactly what that is
Yeah,
from here.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, gotta be careful with this. And the other one is what? A minus 10 root 2, comma negative 1, right?
So then a is equal to this.
Well, let's start it off with the center.
The center.
Can we start it with the center here?
H is equal to 0. Like
Wait, h is 0?
yeah, because you can see that like how like those two like diverge.
No.
Or like
H is 8. And then k is what? Negative 1. That's all we got?
yeah, that makes sense.
Remember, the way to find a vertex is what? H plus a, comma k, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or h minus a, comma k.
Yeah.
So what's the value of a right here? It's given already, actually. 10 root 2.
Well, what about 10?
This one, again, this one is called the reducing ratio. Reducing ratio, that means this one is just the simplest form. It's not the actual value of a, right? So now, what can we do?
Ooh, yes, I know. Because you know that A is 10 root
Comparison,
2.
right?
Yeah, and then after that you can find B by like if you
Exactly.
know C, then
Okay, well let's just find out exactly what C is.
yeah.
Again, C is also, it's the reducing
So you have
number.
to set up a ratio. which
Ratio,
is
exactly. So we got root 30 over 20 equals what?
X over
Well, C
C
over 10 root 2, right? Again, proportionality. Wow. Because sometimes it could be tricky, you know, once they give you the problem like that. Hey, they don't match. Well, of course, because this one's the reducing ratio,
yeah.
the simplest form. Now, how do you solve for C?
Multiply.
Cross multiply, okay, so 20C equals what? 10 root 60?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, which is also 20 root.
Yeah, divided by 10,
20
multiplied by
15.
20,
So it's just root 15. So C is equal to root 15.
root 15.
Yeah. So if you know that root.
So this one here, it's written as what? 2 root 15 over 2, so it's root 15.
So 15 is equal to.
Okay, so now we solve for C, we solve for A. Can we solve for B?
Yeah. So. You know,
Yeah.
15 is equal to.
How do you solve for B? Square root of A squared minus C squared, right? Yeah?
Exactly.
Kind of like a Pythagorean theorem again,
Yeah.
right? Because the other way to find C for this one is what? Square root of A squared minus B squared.
180.
So we just swap them. So square root of A squared minus C squared. So A squared, which is what? 10 root 2. So then that'd be 20 times 2, which is what? 40? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Minus 15. So we got root 35. Okay.
So we-
It's all radical, irrational number. That's how crazy this problem is. Okay, now, this is a nice number.
Wait, you found
25?
root 25? A squared? Wait, A is
Wait,
equal
wait,
to
sorry,
10 root
Bob,
2.
25. Is that 25?
No.
Which is what?
because- No, wait. A squared minus C squared.
So what's A squared? 10 root 2 times 10 root 2?
It's
Wait,
200.
wait, wait.
200.
Yeah. Gotta be careful right here. What's A squared? 200, right?
Yeah.
So 200 minus
15, which is what?
15. So then that'll be what?
Root 85. I got that too.
Yeah?
Well, root 185. Sorry.
185.
Yeah. So then,
Can we simplify that a little bit?
no,
It's not divisible by 25?
not even by 3.
No?
Yeah,
Just leave it?
Yeah.
Now what? We got A, we got B, we got C.
So you can just plug it in.
So just find the equation of ellipse, right?
Yeah.
So would you know that's what? Equation, it's a horizontal one? So it's x minus, what's h right here?
Minus 8.
Squared.
Okay, x minus 8, quantity square, over,
200.
uh-huh,
plus
Plus
y plus
y
1
plus 1 quantity square over b
185.
square, 185. And that whole thing equals what? 1. Wow. What do you think? Okay?